Hi, welcome back. In this video, we're going to continue with the implementation of program 3. So we've already done the greeting function. Here's our prototype. Here is our function definition. And here is where we are calling the function. So now I'm going to do my next function. My next function is called the view balance function. So I'm going to copy and paste this down here. This is the view balance function. What this function does is it takes one argument of type double and it prints the balance onto the screen. So this function, printf, the current balance in your account is percent, oops, let's put a $sign there. $% %.2f, comma, balance. So this variable right here, balance, in order to use this function, you have to actually pass it a value. So once you pass it a value, it can use that value and print it onto the screen. You can be more elaborate with your display on the screen, or you can be simple. Again, this is just about practicing using functions. So this is our function definition. Now if I build it and I run it, would I like to make a purchase? Yes, 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 no. Okay, so what happened? It's not showing my current balance in my account. Well, that's because I have not called the function yet. So I need to call the function. In order to call the function, I make a function call. So what I want to do is I want to right away show the balance. So I tell you where to put the function calls. There's the view balance function call. As soon as I put it there, it tells me that I need to pass it a double. Now I can't just declare a variable right here. I have to declare a variable up here. Double balance in main. Now I could just call it balance, but I'm choosing to call it balance in main because I want to differentiate the difference between the local variable in the main function, which is the balance, and the copy that the function makes in its own local copy of the balance. So those are two different variables in main. They're both doubles, but they're two different variables in main. So I need to pass this balance to the function. And now that says I have no issues. So let's see what happens. Let's build it. And I actually should have an issue, and I do. So I click down here. Now, why do I have an issue? Well, when I pass this balance in main here over to this function is basically going to say double balance equals whatever value the balance in main is. Well, the balance in main, I haven't given it a value. So I need to make sure that before I allow a function to make a copy, it has to have a value. All right, so now once I give it a value, that should fix the problem. So let's try again. And you should always continue to test, always, each time you do something. All right. Welcome and display the instructions. Your current balance is $5. All right. Working. Perfect. So now the next thing is I want to implement the display menu function. I'm not going to do the complete menu only because I don't want you to have to watch me type, but I will do a couple of options. So I'll do a let's see, what do we have? I'll do a hot coffee and a hot latte, but you can add the rest later. I'll do 3. The first 3. So I need to copy them here just so I can remember. All right, so I'm going to implement the display menu function. So here we go. This is my display menu function. This function is going to display the items. So printf did I say? Here are the, okay. Here are the items. Printf. Okay, select by number, select the number. You have to tell the user what to do. Select the number. All right, so we have one for hot coffee. And you're going to spend a lot of time formatting, making it the way you like it to be, I think. And there's nothing wrong with that. I always test, and I always find myself making a lot of changes. Like maybe I have too many new lines, maybe I don't have enough new lines. So I'm just putting a bunch of printfs here, and I'm just going to have 3 choices. Of course, when you do this, you're going to have all 7 choices. I just don't want you to have to watch me type them all. Also, I want to leave a few things for you guys to figure out. All right, so this is the display menu function. And now if I build it, it should not like that because the display menu function has an integer return type and I'm not returning anything. This has a void return type, so it automatically returns back when it finishes the function, and this one also has a void return type. But this one, the compiler should give me a message telling me that it would really like it if I return something. See, there it says, the display menu must return a value. So this is a warning, and it's not actually an error, so my code might still work, but I want to use my functions properly. So I'm going to fix this and have it return something. So int item, and here are the item numbers, and then I'm going to tell the user to enter the number. Enter the number, which I said that twice, but that's okay, and I spelled number wrong. And then I'm going to scan in the number. Now, this is an integer, so I don't want to put the space. I just put %d, comma, address of item. And after I scan in, I need to return it. So this function displays all of the items, scans in the item, and returns it. And now I'm going to build it and see what happens. And let's test it. Welcome, would you, okay, so what happened? Well, what happened is I haven't called this function yet. I need to make the function call to the display menu function. So the name of the function is display menu, and it does not take any arguments. So up here, this is where I want to display the menu, and it does not take any arguments. So the function call is going to be like that. However, the display menu function does have an integer return type. So I need to declare an integer, int item num in main. Again, I'm just distinguishing between the fact that this integer is a local variable in the main function. You certainly don't have to do that. And this item right here is a local variable in the display menu function. They are 2 different integers that are stored in memory, and they have their own local block of code that they belong to. So this is a block of code, the display menu, and that item is in display menu. And then this is a block of code, the main function, and item num in main is in this main function. So I'm going to, and you can, one thing you can do in your programs is you can use your own variable names. They should be descriptive, but you can use your own variable names. So what's going to happen is this display menu is going to be called, and it's going to ask the user to enter an integer, and the user is going to enter the integer, and then that integer is going to be passed back So you need to have it in this function call in the form of an assignment statement. And I'm going to make sure that it works by just saying you entered number %D. And this is not required, of course, but I always like to echo back to make sure that this is working properly before I move on to the next step. All right, so let's try it. All right, so welcome. Here are the items. Select the number, and I enter the number 3. You entered number 3. Yes, here are the items. Select the number. I enter number 7. You entered 7. Okay, now how could I enter 7? Because it's just an integer. As long as I enter an integer, it doesn't matter. In the next step, I'm going to address that. Now, I don't really like the way this looks, so I'm going to make a few changes. I don't like that my menu has so many new lines, so I like it to be a little more streamlined like that. I also sometimes I like to put a little separation here just to make things like separate it. So I put like a dash here, and then let's test it again. This is just a aesthetic, but I usually kind of see this is much nicer. Here are the items, and then enter the numbers very clear. 3, yes, I would like to go again. 1, yes, I'd like to go again. 0, no. Okay, so at this point it's working. So in the next video, I'm going to finish up this program.